go out until I tweet it here. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Send
It's
the
like-
it's literally your tweet. Send the link. Where's the link?
Yeah, millennial. I always feel like I'm putting the wrong number of L's in there, no matter how many I put in
There
there.
are too many fucking L's in millennial, which, brother, that'll preach.
Millennial. Anyway, hi, welcome.
Millennial.
I'm putting the link in the chat. All of this is staying in the beginning of the podcast, by the way.
Of course.
Welcome to One Take Podcast, episode
165.
Is it 167?
God damn it.
Teach, the link is in the private chat. Anyway, this week we are reviewing Dune Part 2, otherwise known as Dune to the Streets, aka Dune 2 Electric Boogaloo, aka Too Dune Too Furious, aka Dunes. See, with the S.
Dune Strikes Back.
The Dune Strikes Back was the one that you tweeted today. I love that one.
Son of Dune.
That's actually Children of Dune is actually a book, by the way.
Oh, really? That's sick. Okay.
Yeah. Which I looked up the Wikipedias to that because I was like, all right, how does this progress? I was like, maybe do I want to read these books? You know, not a big reader over here per se, but I was like, do I want to read these books? And guys, I know this is weird. These things get progressively more weird as they go on. Just look at the Wikipedia for the next 6 books and kind of skim those. It's really interesting. But we are joined by Dune expert.
No,
not Dune expert. Just
do not call me that.
Like, do not put that on me.
You are setting the expectations very high, and I resent that.
Do not put in the newspaper that I am a Dune expert.
No. Do not quote me. I will perjure myself.
We are joined by Derek Foltz. Derek has been all over, though, the Dune 1 is good train. So we appreciate you coming on.
I am the fucking conductor of the Dune 1 is good train. I'm punching everyone's tickets as they come in. I'm like, hello, welcome. Let the spice blow through you.
Yeah, well, very nice to see you. You can all sit in your ornithopter or whatever that is.
Ornithopters, yes.
Yeah. Dune Part 2. How do we even begin to look? We're gonna try not to spoil this. I don't know how well we're going to do it. That people of the internet, do not be mad at me, but I think that everyone on the planet saw this movie already. So, Dune Part 2. Let's get into the synopsis. Came out this week, PG-13, which I was shocked by. 2 hours, 46 minutes, 9.0 on IMDb. That is good for, like, I think the number 12 rated movie of all time on that website.
Oh, wow.
Paul Atreides reunites with Chani and the Fremen while seeking revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. Written and directed by Denis Villeneuve. John Space has a writing credit on this as well. It is based on the book, the first Dune book by Frank Herbert. Stars everyone in Hollywood. Okay,
literally, like everyone that had a free moment between like Barbie and Oppenheimer, they're like, hey, come over to Dune 2.
Anyone who wasn't in those movies is in this movie. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, which it's shocking to see him in this movie, by the way.
Jarring. Both times I saw this.
Yeah, Leah Seydoux, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, and then do we want to spoil who pops up as a cameo?
She spoiled it herself, basically.
Like, she's been showing up at the premieres and stuff. So I mean,
yeah, fucking Anya Taylor-Joy coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, definitely showed up out of nowhere.
Took me by surprise, honestly, because I knew she was at the premieres and stuff, and then I was like, "That's weird." But then she showed up in the movie, and I was like, "That's such a weird thing for her to be doing here."
Yeah, it's like anyone who I think Denis Villeneuve rather has like made a bunch of promises to a bunch of people, like, please God, show up in this movie. You'll have a great part somewhere down the line. And he doesn't even know if he's going to get the next movie. And he's just like, no, but I promise you'll be great. Just show up for 3 seconds in Jordan or wherever we film this.
It's all a big Ponzi scheme, is what you're saying.
She was the Zendaya of this film. She played her
I literally was
Zendaya.
thinking the
She
same
showed up
thing.
on set. She was there for about 3.5 hours, left set. Like, all right, I'm good. I've done everything I need to do. I'll see you guys for Dune 3. So that's basically what she did.
This had $190 million budget. The last one that came out, I mean, we all remember this because, you know, we were there, but the last one came out day and date release. And I had sort of memory hold that a little bit because I was in the theater. I was in there breathing on people, you know?
Same.
And it still made day and date release like nearly $500 million for a, you know, NyQuil, the movie. And then, and look, I got on Twitter and said that I actually appreciate Dune 1 now, but it like honk shoe, me, you know what I mean? But it made a good bit of money. This one, does anybody want to play the box office game, or do y'all know? Have y'all seen?
I saw it already.
I think I've seen a number.
Oh, yeah. I think I sent y'all. Never mind. Do you want to guess the gross worldwide already?
Ooh.
2 billion.
Yes.
I'm gonna go 270.
No.
I'm gonna go 210.
This is not including today. I think it was through Saturday. It made 81.5 million in the U.S. and Canada. Worldwide, it's made 178. So it's probably going to make its money back by the time the weekend is over.
Oh, I didn't realize. I saw the number I saw was worldwide. I thought that was U.S. I thought they were going gangbusters. Jesus.
No, it's doing great here. It's still like it's a popular book. We're dealing with some niche content here, though, to be completely honest with you. So that kind of mimics what Oppenheimer did in the theater. I think it was just below what Oppenheimer opened at, or maybe right on it, what Oppenheimer opened at. Interesting, because this is a PG-13 like epic sci-fi film, and Oppenheimer was a rated R character study.
And also, this is a sequel.
Yeah. So you would think that, I think it's going to do gangbusters and make way more money than the original Dune did, but not that matters. We're here to talk about the content of the movie.
Maybe they should have paired this movie with Madam Web, like Oppenheimer was paired with Barbie, and just had like a Dune Web kind of situation, and everybody could have
Madam Dune.
Madune Web.
Madune Web.
Madune Web. Oh my God. Maudib Web.
Maudib Web. Oh my God.
Lisana Madame Web.
I don't know. Sydney Sweeney could pop up in here, you know?
I would never. Hey, Sydney Sweeney,
let's get her in
I support you in whatever endeavors that you are in. God bless you.
So this is going to be one of the best reviewed movies of the year, regardless. Like, we could kind of like wrap that up. 94% critic score, 95% audience score. Visually thrilling and narratively epic, Dune Part 2 continues Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the beloved sci-fi series in spectacular form. So this is going to win all the below the line awards at the Oscars next year.
Again.
Sorry to whatever else is coming out. Again, yeah. Yeah, just sorry to whatever else is coming out. I don't even know like what is going to challenge it. Like what's on the slate,
I was really
because it kind of is like
Kevin Costner is taking a lot of umbrage with what you're saying right now.
Yeah. I was looking forward to that John Krasinski movie. If that's really going to do it for me, you know,
that's gonna be crushing to watch them lose best costume design.
Look, If and Ghostbusters look like the most 65% movies of all time.
Wait, when is Furiosa coming out?
Oh yeah,
don't do that. Do not do that.
No, Furiosa is going to challenge
nowhere
it.
near the 65.
Okay, but like, why do we have to pit two
No, I'm
strong
saying
women against
it's.
each other?
I'm saying this might Furiosa might challenge it for the Oscars.
That's fair.
All the below the line.
I think it comes out in
next year, though.
Or in June.
It comes out this year?
Yeah.
It comes out this year.
Well,
think it comes out in June, so we'll see.
Why are we pitting
that trailer looks incredible. Like,
that's going to be insane for cinema, man. Oh my, this summer is going to be an incredible summer for cinema. I cannot
May 24th is the release date I'm seeing.
Hey, I know we're going to be talking about Dune, but by the way, that Kevin Costner having the gall to put out a 5-minute long trailer about with not telling you what his movie's about.
That shit looks ass. Kevin Costner, what are you doing, brother? He spent his own money to make this crap. That trailer was so long and it stinks.
I will not be participating in the Kevin Costner endeavor. Thank you.
It was
3-hour-long westerns.
Horizon, an American Saga, and it's like he's releasing it in
part
2 parts.
And part 2.
But it looks like he put out the trailer
that says I don't have to participate in class this day. Sorry.
All that stuff you love about Yellowstone, for me. He gutted out all of the good stuff from Yellowstone and made his own you can't even literally you don't know. You watch a 5-minute trailer and you have no idea what the film is about. It's just shots and people being very emotional about God knows what. You have no idea.
And you also don't know if it's a trailer for the first movie or the second movie. So it's
both.
Yeah, or both. Is it a trailer for both movies?
I think it is. I think it has stuff from both because it shows you at the end the dates for both movies, which is weird because we don't need a trailer for 2 movies. You need to convince us to see one movie first, brother. One. Now, I'm not saying you should lie to us like they did with Dune, but definitely don't put both dates in the first trailer. That is also not the way to go. Bad job.
Shout out to Denis Villeneuve not lying to us to start a movie this time.
Thank God.
Yeah. Anyway, Dune Part 1 defender and aficionado, Derek, give your Dune Part 2 review.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me on because I said this on Twitter. I actually got back on Twitter to say this. I am owed several apologies from this podcast.
Why?
Oh, here we go.
You 3 dogged on me for liking Dune 1 so much, publicly and privately. I know. I've seen the screenshots. And so now that we're all back on the train, I'm vindicated because this movie fucking rules. A+. It is so good. I've seen it twice now, and I cannot wait to see it 3 or 4 more times. It takes everything that I liked about the first one and just amps it up to 100. All of the weird mysticism of the first movie with the stuff with the Bene Gesserit and all of the prophecies and stuff like that. Love that shit. It gives us Austin Butler in one of the coolest roles I've ever seen for him. And probably the coolest role he'll ever have.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's Elvis 2 might be good. But
he's coming in. He's going to be in Heat 2, brother.
And then Timothée Chalamet acting his ass off. Just this the score, the cinematography, the shots, just everything about it. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm just going to literally just be jerking this thing off for about 2.5 hours. But it's so good. It is now top 5 favorite movies ever.
Wow.
Off the rip. I respect it.
Tej, you're frozen. Well, I was going to message you, but
he's back.
Dex, he dropped. Okay, Dex, what is your ravings and reviews? Because you said 10 out of 10, 5 stars, no notes, 2 thumbs way up in the text message.
Yeah, 5 stars, 10 out of 10, A+, all that shit. This movie was spectacular, and I wouldn't call myself a Dune 1 hater, but I'm a Dune 1 truther, and that movie was good but not great. I felt like there was a lot that they just kind of set up and then just didn't really make you care about any of it. And then this is the part where they make you care. They make everything that's in Dune Part 1 feel like it was relevant. Thank God this movie justified the existence of Dune Part 1 because they made Timothy Chalamet and everyone else on screen just look like the biggest badasses ever, and everything feels like super high stakes, where there felt like there were no stakes in the original movie, even though people were dying. Well, yeah, they just turned up everything that I thought had potential in Dune Part 1 and just made it 10 times better. Them turning Timothy Chalamet's character, Paul, stupid name still, from, shy teenage boy who just wants to go play with his friend Jason Momoa on the new space planet into Jesus Christ and also Jon Snow and also Batman. Like, that's just awesome. Like, that rules. That works so well for me. Austin Butler was dope. Like, he's a weird little freak in this movie, but not in an annoying way, not in like a Barry Keoghan way. Like, ooh, look at me and my little accent. I'm naked. Like, no, he's just a little weirdo. He's still intimidating. Zendaya got a lot of time to shine in this movie after just being a whisper of an idea in the first movie. And that all worked for me. This is an A+, man. Like, there's like literally just one scene that I was like, I don't like this. This is kind of whack. Everything else, I was like, I love this. This is amazing. A+.
Tej is still like buffering or something for some reason. Like, I'm not seeing his. We'll get to him in a minute. I'll just go ahead and.
Before you start, funny thing. I actually found out, I think today, that Barry Keoghan was in talks to be Feyd-Rautha in this movie. Like, he was like one of the finalists for that part, and then
of course he was
dropping out for some reason. And I'm like, thank God,
because everyone's like, we need a weird little freak in this movie. Let's call Barry Keoghan, and like, that's cool, but
his little impish ass walks up.
We just need a weird little guy, just a weird little.
Call up Hollywood's best weird little guys.
Yeah. The first thing I wanted to say is I'm firmly on the Austin Butler train now. I told y'all off pod. I get it. I'm starting to get what everybody is seeing. Now, is he still maybe doing the Elvis voice like occasionally and still doing it in real life? Who's to say? Me. But I get it. Like, he comes off to me. There's Tej. He comes off to me like, honestly, and people may take this as sacrilege, he comes off to me as like a young Brad Pitt. Just the confidence that he has. He's also like, by the way, like they really make him fuck him up, like do him a disservice to how good he looks in real life. But like, he has that type of confidence, and it's really interesting to see. He's now like 32. We don't kind of realize that because he could be like 19. He could be like 45. We have no idea how old he is. But it's interesting to see him continue to like take bold choices after being like on Zoe 101 or whatever. But I find him to be really interesting. Chalamet, I'm up and down on in this movie again. And I have found out that I think, and this is weird to say about Austin Butler and not like say about Chalamet and not Austin Butler. Chalamet's too pretty. I think that I found what my problem is with Chalamet. The Chalamet's too pretty. And him having to go be like rough and tumble warrior guy. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm built different. I wouldn't let him cook me like that. I don't know.
I will say, yeah, him cooking Austin Butler in a fight just doesn't feel like a thing that would ever happen. Like, you just
right. No, it just doesn't feel accurate. But whatever. Denis Villeneuve is not a singular talent because a lot of what he can do, Nolan also does. They're working in the same space, but he is like, as far as executing a vision of a whole world and fleshing that out, I don't know if anybody really does it better than him. He kind of doesn't leave any stones unturned. In fact, changing the script to where it actually makes this movie, or changing the book to script where it makes this movie actually like more cinematic too. They like purposely took out storylines and gave Zendaya more characterization, because she's a movie star and he recognizes that she's a movie star and like actually lets her do stuff. By the way, this is like the first movie that Zendaya has done anything in since like 4 years ago, because she really doesn't do anything in the Spider-Man movies.
Zendaya is Michi.
Yeah, Zendaya is Michi. No, what was the movie where she just argued with John David Washington for
Malcolm and Marie?
Malcolm and Marie.
Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's the first movie that she's had anything to do since then. By the way, cannot wait for Threesome Tennis, the sex movie.
Challengers is coming, and I will be there.
Ah, yes, Zendaya and her
no matter
magic
what.
wings.
Sex movie is a better title for sure.
Yeah,
I will be there.
And then so I'm rambling, but I think that Villeneuve, the way that he executes is just some of the stuff that he did I've just never seen before. Not to spoil but on the Harkonnen planet, when it like the color grade just went away in the middle of the shot when they were walking from inside to outside and they all turned black and white. Unbelievable. Just chef's kiss. And I'd never seen that before. I did say that somebody said on Twitter, which was really funny. They told my coworker about this scene, the black and white scene in Dune Part 2, and he said, "Oh, like Thor: Love and Thunder."
Oh, yeah, that person knows cinema and knows ball. I'm glad that he said that.
And you know what? He's not really wrong. But
no, he's not wrong at all. It was great when that happened in Thor: Love and Thunder. It was great.
Yeah, that scene rules.
The ends justify the means, because as a companion piece to Dune Part 1, this really plays. Like it really feels like the second half of a book or the second half of a play after an intermission. Like it feels like that. Now, granted, all the fun stuff is in this movie, but
yeah,
Dex, you had to take that you kind of don't need Dune 1 for this. I tend to disagree that I think that Dune Part 1, when watched attentively and actually on rewatch when you know what is happening, really plays into this movie, because I watched it the other night and I actually knew what was what. And that leading into this, when I sat down in the theater, I was like, there was like revelations happening that I had like never experienced before with movies, where I'm like, oh, the puzzle pieces start to connect. That being said, Dune 1 can be ambient. Like it just is what it is. Like I now enjoy the backstabbing and the buildup of the world, and I'm glad that we have that. I don't know if I will ever reach for that movie when Dune Part 2 is now here.
Facts.
So,
and like to explain my take a little bit on not needing Dune Part 1, I feel like with them like talking you through like some of the betrayal in this movie, you could have easily just had like all the cool parts of Dune Part 1 be flashbacks in this movie and just rock out from there. Like you can show me the fall of House Atreides in a flashback and we can keep it moving. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's part of me where I do agree, where it's like, you probably could have made this like really like an hour longer, like 3:30, and like put front loaded with
one movie.
Yeah, you probably could have done it. I'm kind of glad now that he didn't, and he used all that world building. That being said, it's like, yeah, Tej, you're right in this. Honk shoe, me. Like I'm out. Like, but anyway. Tej, now that you have Wi-Fi connection, what was your review?
All right, so I've been branded online, whether rightfully or not so rightfully, as kind of a Dune hate account. So
you have gone out of your way to be like, Dune 1 sucks.
And I haven't said anything publicly about Dune 2 since I've seen it for this reason. I want to save it for this moment.
Oh, by the way, I'll give this an A plus. I there's some parts that I think I would detract from it, and we'll get into that in spoilers, but go ahead.
All three y'all gave it an A plus. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me just go back. So if you go back and listen to our Dune 1 episode, I think I'm right in characterizing it by saying we all kind of agreed that, one, there was cool stuff in Dune 1. to Dune 1 is obviously a setup movie. And not just because it's called Part 1, but you could just tell by watching the movie that this is setting up for a larger movie with cooler shit in it, and it's setting up for a better movie. And even the biggest Dune fans would not disagree that when they watched Dune 1, as much as they might have loved it, they knew that Dune 2 was going to be better and cooler because of all the stuff that is not there in Dune 1. So I also rewatched Dune 1, just like Roy, and I did not expect to. I think I actually said on the pod, I will never watch this film again, and I'm only going to watch those little recap videos from New Rock Stars to get ready for this movie. But one night, I could not sleep. This is a true story. I could not sleep, and I put Dune 1 on again about a month ago, and I fell asleep within the first 15 minutes. I shit you not. That movie is the greatest sleep aid of all time. Okay? The fact that Dune 2 exists does not change my thoughts on Dune 1. In fact, when I watched Dune 1, I did not change my grade on Letterboxd. It had 3.5 stars. It still has 3.5 stars to this day after I watched it the second time. I think Dune 2 fixed a lot of my issues with Dune 1, but it does not change my issues with Dune 1 because the fact that the issues were fixed in Dune 2 point to me that Denny was very aware of the fact that I have a 3-hour trailer to make you come into the theater to watch the movie you're actually going to want to watch. And I'm not saying there's not cool stuff in Dune 1 because absolutely there is. That box scene in Dune 1 will always stand out to me. It's amazing. And the set piece in Dune 1, when they come and finally come to try to kill the dad, and that war scene is probably the coolest scene by itself in any of the two films.
Yeah,
I still think
with
that
the bagpipes
scene
and everything. I was watching that the other night. I was like, fuck, this is rad. Like, I forgot about that.
The explosions in that scene, like, take your breath away. Like, they are amazing. I think that is the highest level that either of the two films reach in terms of a set piece. And there's only really one set piece in the first movie anyway, so it helps that that set piece happens to be really cool. So I'm not saying that Dune 1 has no cool stuff in it. But Dune 1 is the most one-note movie I have ever seen. Everybody is giving the same exact performance in the 3-hour world-building epic. It is fucking sleep medicine. It is so sleepy that everybody is giving the same performance. Dune 2 is so much different. The performance that Zendaya is giving is so much different than what Chalamet is doing. It's so much different than what Antoine Chigurh is doing. It's crazy that a guy could be funny when he literally played the scariest villain that I've ever seen in No Country for Old Men. It's crazy that he's cracking jokes and being hilarious, and the whole theater's laughing at him being basically a zealot. It's that stuff really helps in a long movie. Having those small note changes really helps. Having Austin Butler show up at minute 90 of this movie and completely taking the movie over for 30 minutes and just being the scariest, coolest fucking person ever. You don't even see Chalamet for those 20 minutes, bros. Chalamet is not on screen for those 20 minutes. We are in Austin Butler world. That stuff really helps break up the movie, which is a long movie. I absolutely love Dune 2. I am not as high on it as y'all. I'm not going to say it's the 12th best movie of all time.
No.
I didn't walk out thinking, holy shit, this is a new hope. I didn't walk out thinking those kind of things, but I really enjoyed it. This might be one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores of all time.
It's so good.
The moments where Chalamet is having hero moments and he goes up on that rock and the score starts to ramp up, you have to be insane to not feel anything. I don't care what you feel about Chalamet. I don't care what you feel about Dune 1. To not feel anything in those moments would leave you are not human. This is a fucking movie star vehicle movie. I don't think that about Dune 1. In Dune 2, there are 4 or 5 people that are getting movie star treatment on real blockbuster shit. Chalamet, who I've been very, very, very critical of, I think is phenomenal. I think this is easily the best thing I've ever seen him in. I'm even talking about Dune 1. I think his performance is so fucking good. The way he's got to thread the needle between I'm in love with this woman doesn't believe that I am this Jesus Christ character, and also neither do I, but I have to turn heel and I have to lean into that shit to turn into that character. I think the subtleties in his performance are phenomenal. I think Zendaya is giving the best performance in the entire film. Her facial expressions, her face is covered for half the movie. She's got a thing on top. She's got a thing on her nose. You can't really see her mouth. And her facial expressions are still perfect for telling you exactly how she feels about any particular thing going on in any particular scene. You got people riding worms in this movie that looks cool as shit. You've got tech in this movie. You got fucking magnet bombs, which is cool as hell. You've got fucking stormtroopers that are using anti-gravity and just floating up on top of rocks. There are 9 or 10 or 30 shots in this movie that will blow your fucking socks off. Denis is him. I am blown away by Dune 2. I have nits. I do not think it is a perfect film by any means, but you are insane to not feel anything. So I will give it an A-, and I will say that I agree with Dex and Royden partway. I don't think you need Dune, a 3-hour Dune 1 cut to build this world, but I think an hour and a half Dune 1 cut or tacking an hour onto Dune 2 is better overall. But I will say that I do not regret watching Dune 1 both times I did after watching Dune 2. It was incredibly worth it. This film fucking goes. I can't wait to see it again, but I do have nits, which we'll get to, but I gave it an A-, and I know that when I watch it a second time, it could easily go to an A. I don't know if it'll ever be an A+, but I was extremely impressed by it. I didn't even give respect to Rebecca Ferguson, who I think is phenomenal.
I think she's doing I think she's doing the best performance in this movie, low-key.
I heard a lot of people say that. I could not stop looking at Zendaya.
I can't get the best performance in this movie, but Rebecca Ferguson was going off. Like talking,
she was going crazy.
Like pretending to talk to a baby is like something very hard to make look cool, and she did it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Talking to your own pregnant belly would most people would look insane doing that, and she made it work.
Before we get into,
I also love Batista's performance. Batista, tough go for that character, but
biggest L of the movie.
I think the performance is so good. I just could not. It was what scared me most going into Dune 2 was I thought that we were going to get the same. To me, Dune 1 is so one note. There's all these cool people giving cool performances, but everybody feels the exact level of intensity. And Brolin's performance in Dune 1 is so weird to me tonally. It just doesn't translate.
He's like up. He's like perfectly fine in this movie. Him and Momoa are like
he's at like 37 in the first movie. He's just like, "You brutal. You've never seen him." I'm like, bro, you have to calm down. Like,
meanwhile, Chalamet is like, I want to learn the Fremen language, and I can't be the Duke of Arrakis. And you're like, dude, are you on like Zoloft? Like, what's happening? Yeah, anyway.
So Paul exactly horrible name. Wadib, incredible name. Wadib, that's somebody I can respect. Wadib. That's a great name. I will never even though it's like
oh no. The sandworm got him. The sandworm got Tej. Anyway. Oh god.
It just came out at once.
Muting you for a minute, buddy.
He's popping off.
Wait till your connection returns, and then we'll get you back on. So
he's right though. Paul is a very stupid name, but Madib rules, and I will be saying Lisan Al Gaib forever now. Like that will be in part of my language forever.
I think that like I'm pretty sure like Frank Herbert named him Paul because Paul's a biblical name, and like we're trying to like establish this like messianic figure, which is also like goes into the more like minutia of what this book is actually about. But yes, Paul, like you've got characters like Leto and like Vladimir Fade Rotha, which I think is like the coolest fucking
name. Fade Rotha.
Fade Rotha. Like catch the Fade Rotha.
Yeah.
That's what they called him on Getty Prime. And then you have Paul and Jessica.
Right.
It's like two people that I know. I know both Paul and Jessica.
I know Paul's and Jessica's. Like that's not. You can't. I'm sorry. The chosen one can't be Paul. Like that's just not.
I'm so sorry.
A war in my name.
Paul.
For Paul.
Oh man. Oh man. Tej, the sandworm still have you. No, so Do you want to get a real quick? I do love what Villeneuve did with this movie. As far as like, you don't really know like how much time is spent. He kind of chooses to like start scenes in media res or whatever, where he's just kind of like, all right, he was walking across the desert. Now they're blowing up a spice collector. You know what I mean? He really is just like, you can follow it. You're smart enough. And I do really appreciate that for what he did. Let's get into spoilers. Hopefully Teej's Wi-Fi connection will be figured out here soon. So the movie really starting in media res. It literally starts right after the events of Dune 1. Like they're still walking in the desert.
Next day.
It's like the next day or like 5 minutes after Dune 1.
They're still carrying that dude's body around.
Right.
So yeah, again, sorry, heavy spoilers for Dune Part 2. But no, so they're still carrying his body around and everything. And in that shot, and Tej mentioned it, the shot of the soldiers running from the sandworm and floating up onto the mountain. It's really funny, but it is.
I knew we were
cool
in for a banger. I knew we were in for a banger at that point because I was literally sitting there like, they can do that. Like, when they do that, that's
like as they're floating up the mountain, like the score coming in as they're floating, I was just like, oh man, like it does. Like if it were just in silence, it would look very goofy because it's like, oh, they definitely look like they're on a harness right now or like on a thing. But as soon as you hear that, I was like, ooh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So of course they do all that, and Paul finds his way to the. I forget what the town is called that's buried in the mountain, but
Siege Tabor.
Yes, absolutely.
But before that, we gotta talk about a scene where like the bodies are just falling out of the sky, just thudding on the ground.
Wow, that was just so fire.
That was so
what a way
sick.
to start them, man. What a way to start them. That was incredible.
He's like looking head, stands there slowly, and then just crashes to the ground, and they show you the body just thudding on the awesome.
He's like looking up, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" Oh shit! Like he's like, no. So I just found all of the world building stuff, especially like he's so in tune with what kind of like the source text says, especially like how they collect water from people's bodies and like all that stuff and all the inventions and little gadgets that he puts throughout the world. I don't think there's been like sort of a more realized blockbuster to me. And this is, you know, a man who has only seen 3 films since Inception, where he like builds out this sci-fi world and what the inventions and gadgets do. And of course, like you can see some of this stuff, like he's realizing some of this stuff with like Arrival and other things and using sort of his other films as test runs. But just the way that like all of it looks and all of the set design of all the ships and everything, it's truly unbelievable.
Yeah, there's so much little random cool shit in this movie. And like rewatching Dune Part 1, I was like, oh, there's a lot of cool shit in this movie too that I just didn't really think about or remember. Like the little holographic shield thing that's like blue when they're getting hit, and then it's like red when they're like getting stabbed or whatever. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like,
there's not a lot of those in this movie. There were so many, I guess, because they're having wars between like the Harkonnens and the Atreides, so they're all like wealthy versus you have all these Fremen that are popping up from underground, so they don't have those kind of shields on.
Yeah, they don't have those.
But seeing the Fremen just like pop, literally rise from the sand, that happens a couple times in the movie, and it is the coolest thing you've ever seen every fucking time. It's insane to see that. I enjoyed that so much, man. I enjoyed that so much.
There's a couple times when I knew we were in for a banger. First of all, yeah, the shot of when they're floating, like just levitating. But 2, the fight with the ornithopter and the machine gun when they're trying to blow up the spice harvester for the first time.
Oh yeah,
I was like, Yeah, this is it. I think we got one here, folks. I was like,
that
this
moment when Zendaya's like running to Chalamet and then the helicopter like crashes behind her. Literally just turned to the guy next to me in the theater and went, "Hell yeah, brother!" Like, this is a real action movie right here, folks.
But I will say my number one scene of this movie, besides like the final battle scene, which is just stunning to look at, but when Paul, this sounds sexual, but when Paul learns to ride the sandworm, it
Man.
unreal. The score heats up, and this thing is beating him to death, and he's like in a sandstorm, and then he stands up, and everybody is like, "He's God," and you're like, "Yes,
he's him."
As written.
Yeah, that scene is staggering. Like, it's incredible how they make the sandworm feel like the biggest thing to ever exist. And like, obviously, they make him feel like literally like Jesus because he's riding the largest animal to ever exist. Like, it's awesome. It's so good.
So crazy that like between the two movies, I usually do one, and again, whether you like it or hate it or somewhere in between, like I am. It's not like you walk out, you're like, that's a fucking blockbuster. When you leave this movie, even if you don't like it, which you'd be crazy not to like it, this is a fucking blockbuster in the truest sense of the word. There are big action sequences. You're going to see shit you've never seen before. You're going to see explosions. You're going to see movie stars, and you're going to see star-making moments. And this checks every box of what there is. When he's riding that worm, it was like my theater was in a trance. It was the most quiet I've ever heard a movie theater. Everybody was in trance. Like you never see before. And the way that it ended, the way that they devised to take a great deal, to great care to make this look good, it's just incredible. It's phenomenal.
It kind of reminded me, like the theater experience of it reminded me of like in Dead Reckoning when Tom Cruise drives a motorcycle off the cliff. And everyone in my theater was just kind of like, it's happening.
Oh, he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing.
Like, we're all just kind of quietly stunned, like, holy shit, this is it. This is it. And then like the scene is over and you're just like, yeah, he fucking did it. Let's go. Like, that's exactly how I felt watching this.
I'm going to bring up this moment. And again, it's one of those, like, whether you love this movie or hate it, like the scene in The Last Jedi, the Holdo maneuver, where they just like light speed through the Star Destroyers, and it just, the sound cuts out and it's just quiet. Like I remember being in the theater for that the first time. You could hear a fucking pin drop.
It took my breath away when I watched that in the theater. I watched it with my dad and my brother, and I was like, what the hell? Like, it was like, and I saw my dad, like, who's a huge Star Wars fan, was like, that was sick. Like, he was like, that was awesome.
But like it felt the same way. So I went. They were re-showing Dune in IMAX before 2 came out, and they showed a scene from Dune 2 at the end of the movie, and the scene it was him. God damn
it! Lights out. We're on Getty Prime now.
My dog said, "You don't need to be well led." No. It was the scene of him riding the worm, and it was like, I wish I could have seen that scene in the theater for the first time. Like, that was the first time I was seeing that scene. But like watching that, like, and that was the only thing of Dune 2 that I had seen. I was like, oh, we're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and you know what? And I will say this about Villeneuve and I mean, not to say that Nolan hasn't like used green screen and stuff. Like half of Inception, or whatever, it feels like green screen, but like they do, like in Interstellar, your mileage may vary on that movie. The Water Planet, they filmed that like on location, and not to say that they recreated a tsunami, but I'm saying like
recreated
with these
water planet.
Yeah. He flew to a water planet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with these movies, what I'm trying to say is like, and not to say that Marvel stuff is bad. Like, I'm not going to be that guy on here, but sometimes you can tell that they're, and Star Wars too now, they're not in a real place. And here, granted, this place that they're at is supposed to be similar to like what we have places we have on Earth that we recognize, but they're fucking in the desert, you know? And you can really tell that, obviously. They're running up sand dunes and doing stuff. And like all of this feels, I use this word a lot, tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes a long way for this movie.
I think one of the best things that he did for that scene in particular was he actually, like for the close-up shots of Paul on the worm, like built that part of the worm for him to stand on.
Yeah.
So that was a practical effect, and it was like if it were CGI, like yeah, it would have been fine. But like, I guess actually like making it look real and like just adding like it added to it. It added to like the grandiosity of it all.
Yeah, it looked like a puppet from like the 80s, kind of.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like a literal Star Wars movie. But
yeah, very Henson.
I did want to mention this just about the movie overall. And this is kind of part of the book and what he wanted to write about. Obviously, the book is many themes that it tries to tackle, all of which are sort of still relevant today, you know, about trusting political figures and like North versus South and things like that. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, religious zealots and things of that sort. I did want to run by, and not to be this guy on the podcast, but to do it, the white saviorness of it all. Mm-hmm. I found that to be very interesting in 2024. Not to say that it was bad or what have you, and it's in the movie for a reason, and that's what the book is about. But like, I did find it very interesting that like that we're willing to still do this type of story.
Well, so. Not to be that guy,
yeah.
Not to be the one with like, well, actually, but like Frank Herbert wrote this book as a critique of the white savior narrative.
Okay,
like
because the ending really does it, and what I know about Dune Messiah is that it really turns on its head because of that.
It's like it's hard for me to like see people that like walk out of this movie and are like, oh yeah, Paul's still a good person. Like he is like the quintessential like satire of the white savior narrative. Like he uses religious fanaticism and literally privilege to like take over a people group and cause them to like fight a holy war in his name, and like brainwashes them. And like whether
I feel him on that though.
But it's like who among us hasn't done that? Like
you know my daddy. I gotta get it back. I can, dog.
Well, I will say it may have, and maybe I just got lost in it in like the spectacle of the battle and the fight with Fade Routh at the very end. Like, yes, he does sort of, after he drinks the water of life, wild how they extract that, by the way, that whole scene. But I don't know, maybe he goes in and he speaks to millions of people and he challenges all of them, and he's really like grandiose and about it, and his character kind
your
of
mother's
shifts.
Warned you of my coming.
Yeah.
Fear the moment. I was like, that's a bar.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Like you kind of see a character shift. I maybe I just didn't quite recognize like how much vengeance that he actually wanted after that point. Like, because you always knew that he was going to try and kill Harkonnen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe it just wasn't communicated to me properly that this did start a holy war. Like it starts in the Wikipedia summary. It literally starts at jihad, is what it says in the Wikipedia summary of the book. Maybe I didn't quite recognize that. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot.
Yeah, they do make him feel like he's still the good guy at the end of this movie, because they're like the great houses like don't accept your ascendancy or whatever. So it's like, well, I mean, they're the ops now. Like,
when he says when they ask him like, what do you want to do? And he just says, lead them to paradise. I said, again, that's a bar. Like,
yeah, like that's sick. Going backwards though, like my favorite thing about this movie is just how many he's him moments there are, and like it's not just Timothée Chalamet. Like that scene where Austin Butler like walks out into the stadium and like it's just that like black and white shot of his face and the music hits and it's like he's walking out into like the biggest stadium you've ever seen in your life. I'm like, yeah, he's him. Like this is a perfect villain. Perfect way to set up a villain. Like
it puts like Spanish soccer stadiums to like shame.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve is like, this is the biggest star on the planet. Like, this is Leo Messi. This is like, like the most popular person you've ever seen. He's young. He's him. Everyone loves him. He's about to kick some ass. The one guy not being drugged, I was like, that's good work. Like, I appreciate that. Like, watching him just kill 3 drug guys would have been whack. Well, watching him kill 2 drug guys and then a regular dude who's kind of buff.
Someone that actually puts up a fight.
You're like, yeah. Like, I'm right along with the fucking plebeians in the crowd. Like, he's him. Let's go.
I do find it interesting, and TG talked about like star-making performances and things like that. They're all like sort of the new generation of movie stars in their own right. Austin Butler nominated for Oscars. So is Chalamet and Florence Pugh. Zendaya is like world famous fashion icon. What have you?
Emmy winner.
Yeah. And Javier Bardem, Oscar winner. All of these like titans or former titans of Hollywood, I think, but especially like awards. I'm interested. I kind of think that this movie could have succeeded without the weight of movie stars, but having recognizable faces in it helped it that much more. I don't know. Teej, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I just want to point out that one of the times that my internet was in making a passionate joke that is a savior film since Passion of the Christ.
I just
let me down.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I just put on Letterboxd that this is the best white Jesus since Jim Caviezel.
I think that tension that I also felt that Roy was talking about the white saviorness of it this is what interests Denis more than anything. You could tell that like because the way that the Zendaya character is rewritten around this shows you that he cares about this tension. And y'all right that he's getting the hero treatment in this film, although that's not where he's going to end up. And it's very clear that's not where he's going to end up because what he's doing without the great score in the background would look bad. Like there's all these people of and he is aware of the fact that things started been a Jesuit putting these things into this community pretty clearly. And so he's totally believe what he's supposed to believe. So he's aware of the narrative and where it comes from, but he still feels like he has to play into it. And I think that we're playing with that. He's presented as a hero that's going to be turned on. And I could tell from this movie that he's going to turn that on. So it didn't bother me in as much of itself. And it really sets up Zendaya of being our smartest character because she's going for this shit. Even after they win the battle at the end, she's like, and I don't want to say that, but obviously there are other reasons why this really is. But with that, the whole film, I think we should save ourselves. This white man is so resistant to the other white.
Right. No, I completely agree with that he's very interested in that. He's also interested in like do things like, can you shape your own narrative or have they already been set in place in general? Like, do you control your fate or is fate already been predestined for you? I found that very interesting because it's like the Bene Gesserit, yes, has put all of this into motion, but does it happen because Paul accepts it or does it happen because it was always going to happen? I found that very interesting.
It's funny because it's like in the first movie, they bring up like the Reverend Mother brings up to Jessica. She's like, he's not supposed to exist.
Right.
Like she's like, we were told specifically to only have girls. And I just think it's really fun, like really interesting that like they had like the Bene Gesserit have this whole idea of the Kwisatz Haderach, like the basically the ultimate power, and then the Fremen and all the people in on Arrakis have the Lisan al Gaib. and it's like Paul was never even really supposed to be any of that.
Right.
He just kind of like falls into place and is like, oh, okay, I guess you're the Messiah now. Like,
yeah.
And so then the Bene Gesserit are like, okay, like this was not supposed to happen, but and then
let's roll with it.
No, like I think one of the coolest lines. I think one of the coolest lines in the movie is when the princess is talking to the Reverend Mother, and she's like, "We need to plan, or like, how are we going to plan for this?" And the Reverend Mother's like, "We're the Bene Gesserit. Or we need to hope for something." And where she's like, "We're the Bene Gesserit. We don't hope. We plan."
Yeah.
And she's like, "We're not." She's
line.
like, "We're just not gonna hope that this happens. We're gonna make sure that this happens."
I will say though, and like we can use this moment to get into some of our nitpicks because this is my biggest one. Like that scene happening, the "we don't hope we plan" thing, and like all of the Reverend Mother stuff that she's doing for the Bene Gesserit doesn't make sense to me that she was specifically like, don't kill Paul Atreides, and then she was also like kind of ass out that he was alive and became like the Lisan al Gaib. It's like you planned so well. It's like why didn't you plan better for this? You know?
Yeah, I think it's almost like she realizes like it's starting to get out of control. Like because it's like the Bene Gesserit like have such control over literally everything that's happening in the galaxy, like politically and and things like that. And then once Paul starts like really falling into the prophecy and starts like actually like he's like, no, yeah, like I am the voice, like the voice from the out, like or the voice from the outer world or
Voice from
whatever.
the outer world, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. let's look at Fade Rotha.
What are our contingencies? Psychopath. Let's do that.
We have the bald uncle fucker, and then it's like
they have Victor Wembanyama. We need to get Chet Holmgren. Like,
yeah. No, my nitpick is I already said it is like maybe it needed to be communicated there at the very end more. And I know that Doom Messiah is probably going to build on this. Is that Paul ends up is going to like it's not going to work out for him, you know. And this all sort of works out for him. And maybe I felt like that maybe needed to be communicated more towards the very end. And that would probably be my one nitpick.
Yeah, they could have made it a little more ominous. It feels like, oh, they're about to go to war and like he's probably going to win. Like you feel like if they start a war, he's going to win at the end of this movie.
Didn't make it a woman. I felt
Wi-Fi's kicking your ass right now, man.
I heard why'd they make, and then I heard woman, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. So
it feels like they would have.
Oh, that damn
dropped again.
I guess we'll never know.
But yeah, they could have made it a little more ominous. Feel like the future was a little more tenuous than it feels in this movie. Because like they're going to war, but it like doesn't feel like they're in danger of like losing that war.
It's like the movie really wants you to look at Chani and like understand that she's the one we're supposed to like side with. Of just like we should see Paul becoming, you know, space Hitler, and like really just be like, oh no, this is not good. But it still paints Paul as a hero.
Well, because he wins, he gets everything that the first movie sets up. That like
I was like, he's the emperor. He is now like going to like rid the world of like rid the galaxy of corruption. He gets
he's going to kill these colonizers. Like
it's like it's like the colonizer killed the bald colonizer, and it's like
and then also it's like not for nothing. I put this in the group chat. Hey man, you get to choose between Zendaya or Florence Pugh. Tough. Oof.
What am I gonna do?
Really feel bad for that guy, you know.
Are y'all spoiling now?
Yeah, we've been spoiling.
Oh, fully.
Okay. My biggest nitpick is that they use this big bombshell that Paul's Harkonnen to basically change around. Like, okay, now he's going to lean into this evil Harkonnen side to be able to turn and now assume the power as on El Gaib. I thought that was flimsy. I don't know enough about the background of the lore to understand why him being a Harkonnen is that big of a deal, other than the fact that his mom didn't know where Dune is. But okay. That felt like a
period.
Jesus
so
Christ.
tough. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to do some hard editing.
No, I thought like I was watching y'all and I was like, do they hear him?
No,
like it's like I was like, this is like this is like those like hyper pop songs we hear on TikTok where you're just like, okay, I don't know what the fuck they're saying, but I'm vibing. I'm like, but okay,
he's speaking the Fremen language.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's using the voice.
But yeah, he is right though. It did feel a little flimsy. The Harkonnen reveal. It just kind of came out of nowhere and like didn't really feel earned. I don't want to like.
Very
they made the Harkonnens feel like the worst people in the world, but like the family connection just didn't really make a whole lot of sense in the context of this movie. I'm sure it makes more sense in the book and they like flesh it out more, but yeah, in the movie just kind of came out of left field and they were like,
even in the book though, like even in the book though, it still isn't very like it comes out of left field, but it's like it all kind of again boils down to like Bene Gesserit fuckery. But like I think that's my biggest nitpick too, is like there's like a part of me that almost feels like Paul's heel turn is unearned. Because it's like he like after he finds out, like after he drinks the water of life and then like finds out that he's part Harkonnen, he leans into I am now space Jesus. Like
right.
Like and gives us one of the greatest scenes in a sci-fi movie ever, where he's literally just like calling everyone out of their name, like but like fully calling a room of millions of people pussies. He's like he's like all of y'all are bitch made. None of you will stand up to me.
You're praying to your bitch ass grandma right now.
Her dumbass got hit with a rock at 12 years old. And what am I doing? What am I doing at 15? Saving the goddamn planet. Fuck out of here, bitch.
Bet you won't fight me over it.
Yeah. Try it, pussy.
I do love
the hand of God's got my path, bitch.
I do love how Javier Bardem's character goes from like not trusting anyone in the first movie to then being like, kill me so you can take my spot on this like council.
Please God, kill me right now.
I cannot remember what Paul does to elicit this response out of Javier Bardem, but there's just one part of the movie where Paul does something, prophecy-ish, and just Javier Bardem just goes, Lisa Logaib!
Yeah.
And it's just like
That's
gets everyone else to start doing it, and it's so fucking funny. Lisa Logaib!
Every Javier Bardem line in this movie was hilarious to me. Like when he's like, the Madib is too humble to say he's the Madib. So that means he is.
Just like it's written. It's like, just as it's written, just as it's written.
Oh, yeah, awesome. They played that really well. And like having Zendaya's character be like the atheist basically, who's like, no, that shit is real. That's dumb. Like playing off of Javier Bardem being like the most zealous believer, like that really worked for me. That was a really smart decision.
It's like we have Zendaya, the philosophy major, and Javier Bardem, the divinity major. Like,
what did we
pastoral ministries major?
What did we think of the knife fight at the very end? One, I do find it crazy that we have all these laser guns and everything, and we're still fighting with swords and shit.
Knives. It's a crisp knife.
It's
dude. My favorite thing about that scene is when they just cut the music and it's just like thuds and grunts and fucking blades hitting the ground and shit. It's so good. And I saw it in Dolby the first night I saw it. It sounds so good because there's like there's a knife falling behind you, and then Austin Butler is like grunting on your left, and like, Timothy Chalamet is like getting kicked in the chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dope. It sounds so good.
When Timothy does a barrel roll in midair, it felt so unnecessary, but it was also like, okay, talk your shit, buddy. Like,
yeah, do your shit, dog.
I was like, I didn't see Gurney teach you that. Was that Duncan? Was that a Mr. Idaho special?
Yeah, Mr. Idaho. I will say, and Tej, you hinted to this. Our boy Batista,
cooked.
Rough go at it.
He got fucked up. Holy shit!
Went out sad.
There's a scene where he literally is retreating. He literally runs away from a fight. Like, literally, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not built for this. I'm not like that. I'm going to run back onto the ship.
That might have been my favorite set piece in the movie. That scene you're talking about where, like, Batista lands on whatever rock that is after, like, shooting rockets at it, and there's, like, a bunch of dust in the air, and it's dark as shit. And then you just see fucking Paul walk through, like, the Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did the Batman shot. Greg Fraser is like, I'm in my fucking. I know this exactly.
Yeah. And then you just see the Harkonnen troops like get picked off like one by one. Somebody like disappears into the sand again, like the Batman. It's awesome. It is so fucking good.
Tej, what do you think of the knife fight at the very end?
I liked it. I thought it was I think last set piece, the start leading into the Austin, but they just yada it. It didn't ending we were supposed to get, not in terms of where we ended up, but like how amazing this set piece. Because all the other set pieces were so amazing, it's kind of hard to like if you're supposed to quote unquote top him riding a worm or some of the first time they fight when they're trying to blow up when they're doing the spice production thing, and like she's hiding, they have to hide underneath the parts of the machine and wait for like it's kind of hard to beat that stuff. So I understood, but compared to the big fight sequence that we got in the last movie, this one felt like so short and like, okay, well, we just had to in the movie now. It was okay. I the fight scene with I could have taken that fight scene between him and the main villain to last a little longer. I would have liked that, but overall, I didn't hate it or anything. It was good. It just didn't feel like it was the high that I expected us to go out on.
They build up Austin Butler enough to where you're like, okay, this guy needs to die. Like, I get it. But like the confrontation between him and Chalamet, it's like, all right, now I got to fight you. And that's maybe just a source material.
We need them.
Yeah, it's like they like, what do they got beef other than like he's a Harkonnen, you know? Like,
I mean, I got that part because it was like, that's the champion for the Emperor. He's not going to fight Christopher Walken. You know what I'm saying? He's going to fight the guy who can actually fight.
However, I would have liked to see it.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken, and like, if you just had a squash match with Christopher Walken, movie ends, that would have been fucking hilarious.
I'm the Emperor now.
If Christopher Walken would have given like an Emperor Palpatine in episode 3 performance where he's just doing flips in the air.
Or he just does like the King Boomy in Avatar. He just rips off his shirt and he's like ripped.
Yes. He's like, all right, Muad'Dib, show me what you got.
You want to challenge me in a knife fight? I don't know.
Over Pugh steps up as the champion.
Yeah. First of all, Dex, you said it. One of these days, we're going to get Florence Pugh something to do in these films.
We have to. She's so good. We have to give her some actual things to do in these blockbuster bangers that she's in.
But she's absolutely
that will win Oscars
every time she's on screen.
It seems like
these movies will win Oscars, but she won't be nominated.
She's going to have a lot more to do in Dune Messiah. I would imagine. I haven't read the book. I would imagine she's going to play a much more central role in Dune Messiah as his concubine or as his wife. By the way, Wadib did my Black Queen so badly. Respect that, brother. Wadib, that's when I knew for sure that Wadib is actually a villain. You don't treat a black woman like that on screen and just get to be the good guy. And so I knew for sure Denis knows what he's doing. Wadib is definitely not our hero in this story. That was seeing Zendaya get on the go to ride her worm with tears in her eyes. That was one real cinema, but two, I felt so bad for her. I knew I shouldn't have trusted this white savior ass nigga in the first place. Now look, I got my fucking heart broken. Wadi, you are a horrible person. Horrible.
By the way, the grunts from like the space travelers were coming in over your audio there, but we did hear you, so that's funny.
Yeah.
You know when the movie starts off with like the guttural like. Yeah. So I will say that you know what the funniest part of the movie is to me, and I know this is like the book or whatever. When he goes, "This was called Arrakis forever, but I know the name now of what this place used to be called." And he goes,
the Fremen name.
It's like, oh, he said the name. He did the thing.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, he goes, Dune. Like that was what really solidified it for him. Not the fact that he's literally telling him, "You are praying to your grandmother right now."
And like it was funny both times. Like in Dune Part 1, when the Baron goes, "My Dune," that shit got the same exact reaction out of me. Like, oh, they just he said it. Like they just had to throw it in there. Like, you know, they just had to force in. Somebody just has to say Dune so we can know why this movie is called Dune. And, like,
did somebody say Dune?
Drink. He said the thing.
I have a question about the Fremen that I don't really understand. When they are praying, obviously, like they are. This is like straight Islam, but like when they are praying, who are they praying to? To the eventual Lisan El Gaib, or are they praying to some God that's going to deliver the savior to them?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think they literally view the worms as their god. Like I think.
Oh, they did say that. Yeah,
I think Shai Hulud is their god. So it's like when they pray, they're praying to like the worm.
Anything else we've been going on for this for an hour? Do we have anything else to say about this movie?
I mean, another one of my favorite scenes is again right before the knife fight. It's not really a scene; it's a moment. But when the Reverend Mother like talks back to Paul and he just uses the voice on her to say silence. And then she falls back and she just falls back. She's like, abomination. And then you just see Lady Jessica's like, talk your shit, Paul. Talk your shit.
Cook her. Expose her.
Expose her.
I will say I saw that scene from the original Dune, like the 1980s version, put
Very
into. Funny. It's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, yeah, she goes, but also the voice sounds crazy. It's like, I don't know. It sounds like they did it through a like a.
The voice to me, like in the modern Dune movies, is I think one of the most impactful parts of the movie because it is so cool.
It's so
every time it happens. However, there is one scene from Dune Part 1 that cracks me up every time. It's when Jessica, they're in the ornithopter and they're like escaping from the Harkonnens. And Jessica uses, give me the knife.
Hers has like a hiss to it that's like kind of awesome, but also very funny.
Yes, and they just give me the knife. It just makes me laugh every time. I'm just like, okay, man. Here you go, lady.
I'm very interested to see how they're going. Obviously, the next movie is probably going to be like 3.5 hours long. But how it is funny that like this one needed so much backstory that we broke it into 2 movies, and now we're just going to make the next book into one movie because he's just like, sure, we're going to do that because then I'm out. But yeah, anyway, and it's going to be a tough plane to land because again, if you don't know the backstory to Dune, just go read the Wikipedia and you'll be like, oh shit. Were we the bad guys the whole time? Oh no, he has the bucket.
Oh shit, you got one.
Oh,
you
God,
got one.
Yeah, he was just kind of looking at me the whole time, and he wanted to say hello.
Oh no. Oh no. You haven't named it or anything. Ew, don't touch it.
We went today to AMC. Let me
tell you about this bucket.
Okay.
So, because podcasts are famously a visual medium, let me explain for everyone at home. I have in my hand the Dune 2 popcorn bucket from AMC. This thing cost me $25.
Christ.
It's so expensive. It has the worm as the. You've seen the picture. I'm not gonna fucking explain it to you. But so when I went and watched the movie, I tried to put popcorn in it and eat the popcorn through the mouth. First and foremost,
Your hand doesn't fit in the thing.
That's about as much as it gets. But like I like finally get it in, after,
oh my god!
After some lubrication,
but you can't pull the popcorn out.
Some lube and some pep talk. And so I grab some popcorn, and so I'm like pulling it out, and it has little rubber teeth on it. The teeth knocked the popcorn out of my hand.
I'm like, literally not functional.
No, and I'm like, this is the fucking Gom Jabbar. It's just, she says, put your right hand in the box.
In the box.
What's in the box? Pain.
Oh my god.
I just
that's hilarious.
It's so like buy it because it's fucking funny, but like it like take the top off. Just do not try to use the top to eat the popcorn. You will be like unfortunately very disappointed.
Yeah, but the upside is that you can fuck it.
Oh yeah, no. Like, do not forget the fact that like it's fuckable.
Yeah.
Like, you think I got all that extra butter on the popcorn for no reason? Listen,
we at the One Take
I felt the water of life in there for sure, brother. Like,
oh no.
Brother, I shine on that halloud, if you know what I mean.
You shine.
She gone on my Jabbar, if you know what I mean.
She shied and then high halloud,
she shied, she gone on my Jabbar until I'm Muad'Dib.
Oh my we at the One Take Podcast should put a disclaimer: do not fuck the popcorn bucket.
Hey, man, as a guest, fuck that bucket, bitch. Like, get it in.
Oh my god, Christ almighty. Okay.
I speak for the entirety of Apollo Entertainment when I say fuck the popcorn bucket.
Oh man.
Get some extra butter on there.
That's actually how you become the Lisa Al-Gaib.
That's how you become a Fremen. You have to ride the worm, if you know what I mean.
Or Bennett Gesserit, baby. Bennett Gesserit.
Ben Gesserit, you know.
He will know our ways. So he started fucking the bucket. He's like,
bitch, I've been knowing.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe you paid $25 for that thing. But then again, like all of our friends were like, I gotta find that fucking bucket.
They're sold out at the AMC I went to today.
Oh my god!
And we looked online to see what they were reselling for. They were selling for like $50. People pay double for those popcorn buckets. That's crazy.
I think I saw one on eBay that's like at this point up for bid for like $500.
No way. Absolutely not. It will never mean that much to me.
No, like as a joke, never.
No, that has to be on display, like for when people come over. But it's just like
sure.
That was in the entryway, as like a centerpiece.
Insane.
It's I need the Devil Wears Prada scene where it's like, is that the Dune 2 popcorn bucket?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I have it available for my hookup, so like whenever we get started, I'm like,
I don't know what you're into or anything, but like, okay, so holy shit, this is going to be nominated for 1,000 Oscars. I can already tell. This feels like remember when, I don't think this is going to be the case because I don't think that Dune 3 is going to be like Lord of the Rings Return of the King. But like this feels like the ramp up that the Two Towers had when everybody was like, all right, the first movie was good. We had a set piece that everybody remembers towards the end. But now we're just kind of like, now we're really moving. And this is where people have started to recognize these as potential game changers. But this will be nominated for a ton of Oscars. Oscar nominations for this year. However, we're going to do our predictions while Tej is still with us. Let's see. Actor in a leading role. 2024 Oscar nominations and predictions. Nominees: Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, Jeffrey Wright. I don't think an award has ever been more locked up.
I was gonna say, does anyone have a pick that's not Cillian Murphy? Because like we could just keep it moving, to be honest.
So I mean, it's gonna go to Cillian Murphy.
This is a lock.
It's a lock. However, I do want to just point out that Paul Giamatti gives a really good performance of The Holdovers.
I loved his performance. The detractors are on this podcast, by the way.
I am here. I am
okay.
them.
You know what? Let me go ahead and just be quiet then, because I don't know how much more how much more hot takes I can get on the pod.
How much more abuse you can take?
Yeah, it's like I've started going to therapy, so it's like I don't need any more things to talk about in there. So
I'm going to look at.
I'll say though, like I'm not like Paul Giamatti is very good in the movie. He didn't. I didn't watch that and think that's an Oscar winner. You know, personally, I didn't watch the movie and think that's a Best Picture nominee. Like it's a good movie.
Yeah,
I can see why people like it. I can see why people love Paul Giamatti's performance, but I just can't get the Oscar winner personally.
I mean, Cillian Murphy's getting the Oscar. Like that's a given, and like I would think like rightfully deserved. But I was like, if we were gonna throw another name in there,
yeah, it's gonna be very cool to see
either him or like maybe Jeffrey Wright. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, and he's been like, it's tough when you do this for like
cool.
so long.
It's gonna be cool to see Cillian have that moment.
Yeah, it's tough when you have to do like 18. Like the Oscars just need to start like bump up. They need to go in February instead of March because we just now know who's probably going to win, and it's tough to like see all of them have to do their like speeches already. But because like right now, Cillian Murphy is going off at 16-5 odds on Gold Derby. Paul Giamatti is coming in second. So yeah, it's kind of locked up. But
16-5.
I don't know what that means, but we'll see. Actor in a supporting role: Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Mark Ruffalo. Also locked up probably.
I think all the big six is locked up. To be honest with you, I don't expect any surprises. I mean, they're not surprises if you expect them, but it feels like all the major categories are locked up at this point to me.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. going off at 3-1 odds right now. Coming in second though is Ryan Gosling making a push, which would be hilarious.
Deserved.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Like I love Barbie. I thought it was one of my favorite movies of the summer. I just like in this roundup, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I feel like any other year it would be Ryan Gosling's. But like right now, I think it's locked up.
I will say this is a very strong year for Best Supporting Actor.
I agree with that.
Like Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things is
incredible,
utterly hilarious.
He's great. He's great,
and he's not even getting consideration from most people.
And that's really weird. Is that like some holdover because he played like the Hulk for like 20 years?
Maybe.
I don't know what it. I feel like. I mean, but Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man. He's about to win. You know?
That's also true. So I don't know. So Best Actress in a Leading Role, again, probably locked up. Annette Bening, Lily Gladstone, Sandra Hüller, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone. There was maybe a push. Like this may be like the most toss-up of all of them, but I think because of the Actors Guild Award went to Lily Gladstone, it's probably her, right?
I don't think this is a lock. This is the one I don't think is a lock. I think Emma Stone is a real live dog. Like she's not the favorite, but her numbers are tracking right behind Lily in terms of all the odds on the betting websites. I think there's a real chance that Emma Stone will award. So I don't think this was locked up at all.
I feel bad for saying it. I want Emma Stone to win. I think Emma Stone is so good in that movie to me.
She is really good, but like Lily Gladstone, I also think is really good in Killers. Like she was my favorite part of Killers of the Flower Moon. I was like,
agreed.
She in my opinion is what made that movie worth watching.
Well, yeah, and then she's not in half the movie too but she's having to do a bunch of acting where she's not speaking. It's a really interesting part. I mean, I'd like for her to see it, but again, we said on this podcast, it's like, ooh, when we all saw Poor Things, we were like, ooh, I don't know, Jim.
I would be fine with both of them, with either of them winning. I think I would rather Lily win. I think that would be a little bit more significant. But I really, really, really love the Emma Stone performance, and I love a lot of her performances. So I'd be happy to see her win as well.
Yeah,
it feels like the Oscars is going to give it to like the woman who's never been nominated before, never won before. Emma Stone already has one. Emma Stone's a made woman in Hollywood. Like it is what it is, you know.
Yeah. I think Sandra Hüller is going to walk away with that Oscar. You're right, Dex.
So great performance by her. It was a kind of a bloodbath in Best Leading Actress too, but
facts.
Best Actress in a Supporting Role: Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster, and Divine Joy Randolph. This feels like it's going to Divine Joy Randolph.
That's Randolph. That's a lock.
Oh sure.
That's a lock.
Do you have anything on that, Derek? Or
nope? I agree.
Sick.
What if I was just like I was really gung ho for America Ferrera? Just like,
listen, man, that would be the funniest Oscar ever.
I'm like, not Cisa Puente winning an Oscar.
That would be the funniest Oscar win of all time.
Like, you think people were upset last year when what's her face won?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, when Jamie Lee Curtis won, brother. The discourse would be nasty online if she won the Oscar.
They would have to shut down the message boards.
Funny.
Like they would have to shut down the message boards.
Like, yep.
And it would be funny because it couldn't even be like Oscars so white. It'd be like just Oscars like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, you know,
Oscars very wrong.
Animated feature. Go ahead, Teach.
I'm glad to hear that unlike the Lesan El Gaib, we support Black women. I like
that. Incredible.
Not my Messiah.
not my Lisa. Okay. Like he told that woman,
I love you forever.
I will be with you until the day I stop breathing.
That man is nasty.
And then as soon as he saw Florence Pugh, he said,
he was like, maybe I was a little hasty. I might be breathing a long time. No.
You know,
he said, "Brother, that's a very lot. I'm scared of commitment."
Yeah. Ooh, what did I just? I was just talking with my dick. I'm sorry. I didn't like.
He said, "I don't even fuck with Arrakis like that." Like,
it really was like. Oh, I didn't know your daughter looked like that.
Yeah, facts.
He said, "You know what? I'll let you live if you give me that."
Yeah. Oh my god. Animated feature film: The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dream, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I think it's gonna go to The Boy and the Heron.
Boo.
Yeah. That makes me sad.
Boo.
It as much as I kind of like The Boy and the Heron, it should go to Across the Spider-Verse.
I mean,
Boy and the Heron, but it should go to Spider-Verse. No disrespect to Boy and the Heron, which I've never seen, but Spider-Verse is the greatest film of all time. It's going to be robbed, and I'm going to have not a fun time watching Boy and the Heron win this award. Maybe I'll actually watch The Boy and the Heron one day, but the Spider is the greatest film of all time. I'm very upset about that.
I don't think actually watching The Boy and the Heron is going to change your mind, Tej. Like,
actually,
yeah.
You know what's funny is
that makes me even more
sad. On Gold Derby, Spider-Verse is going off as the favorite.
Oh,
really?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
As of today.
I don't know how it works with movies like this, where there's like an English dub. Like, would Florence Pugh get an Oscar off of Boy and the Heron winning best animated feature?
She would be. She'd have that on her writer as basically in the Oscar-winning film. So and so.
Does she get mailed like a little plaque, little medal?
No, I think Miyazaki gets it probably, but you know.
Yeah.
So yet another Oscar movie where Lawrence Pugh is involved in some way, but we have to question her involvement and question. I'm starting to sense the theme here.
Me either. Support Florence Pugh. Cinematography: El Condi, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. It's Oppenheimer, right?
Maybe, but I think it's going to be Oppenheimer. But I want to just give a little bit of credit to what they did with the Maestro cinematography. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's just mind blowing. I watched that movie again a couple weeks ago, and I was even more floored by it. I know that I'm kind of alone on Maestro Island, but I really, really, really enjoy Bradley Cooper, the director, and I just want to give him.
You're
Very
not alone.
weird.
I love Bradley Cooper, the director, and I think my show is very good.
Yes. Okay. I've wavered on that film, but
I hope y'all have fun.
Yeah, very weird. It would be a very weird island to be on. Cinematography, or yeah. So I think that, but Killers of the Flower Moon is coming in second on Gold Derby for that, and just for the ending shot alone that T just mentioned on this podcast several times. Yeah. Or when they're working with the fire and stuff. Rodrigo Prieto is incredible.
That's just real cinema. That cinematography is great.
Yeah.
I will say that El Conte movie, I hadn't heard of it until the nominations dropped for Best Cinematography, and then I hadn't heard about it again until you just read it right now. Not a real movie.
It keeps showing up on my Netflix, and I want to watch it because it looks like it would be something that I'd be interested in. But I'm also just like, who am I going to talk to about this?
Netflix is known for making fake movies to get Oscar nominations.
They sure are, aren't they?
This is my conspiracy theory.
Naiad, the two
not
popes.
Real.
Naiad is not
Naiad. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about like, oh, I actually watched Naiad the other day, and it was actually pretty good. And I'm like, how much are they paying you?
It's been on
Nobody has seen this movie.
No, nobody's talked about it, but that's crazy. It's gotten several Oscar nominations. Costume design, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon. Okay. Oppenheimer and Poor Things.
Is this our Barbie moment?
Barbie.
Maybe.
We might have two Barbie moments. This and Best Original Song.
Yeah.
Oh.
Barbie's going off. Barbie's going off as the favorite. Poor Things is coming in close as the second favorite.
Poor Things had good costumes.
Emma Stone was wearing that. Emma Stone put that shit on.
The big sleeves, yeah.
You mean
short shorts and big sleeves?
She was naked for half the film, so they really don't think very much.
Emma Stone took that shit off. Like,
she's, "You'll furious jump me now," and they're just like, "Oh, okay." That's the kind of time that we're on. Didn't realize. Directing. Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Zone of Interest, Justine Triet, Martin Scorsese, Christopher Nolan, Yorgos Lanthimos, Jonathan Glazer. This is the most like green a nomination has ever. This is the most locked anything has ever been locked.
This is a lock.
It's got to be Nolan, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
This is Nolan's moment. This is a lock.
Let's see. I mean, it's not even.
I keep wanting to pretend that Poor Things has a chance in anything because, like, Poor Things was one of my favorites of last year. But I'm also just like, any other year, I think it would have. But in the year of Oppenheimer,
I saw Poor Things and immediately was like, "That's this year's Tar." Like, it
may get shut out. I don't know what it's gonna.
No, they might. They might win Best Actress. We just said that.
That's true. Christopher Nolan's going off at 3-1 odds. Yorgos Lanthimos is going off at 4-1 odds. So right behind him, I find that interesting. But yeah, it's Christopher Nolan, and it's never been more Christopher Nolan. He's taken every industry award, including the DGA, the PGA, all those awards, the Golden Globe.
Is there any chance that they don't give him Best Director and Best Picture? Is there any chance that they just give him one of them, just both?
It would be that they give the Best Picture and not Best Director.
Right.
I could see them doing something stupid where they're like, "Yeah, it's Best Picture, but we're gonna give Yorgos Best Director. We're gonna give
I could see that
Justine Triet Best Director, somebody else." I don't know.
Well, because it's weird because he's been left out of like all of his films that have been celebrated at the Oscars or whatever. Like he wasn't even nominated for The Dark Knight. He wasn't like nominated for Inception or anything like that. Like all the films that have garnered Oscar attention from him in the past, he's never been nominated.
Yeah.
So
it feels like it's time for them. It's time to pay the pauper. It's time to pay. You have to. I think he should get Best Picture and Best Director here. I think that he's going to. And it's obviously a very stacked group of 9 films, but I think he's going to do it. But I do always against the Academy because they have been known to disrespect this man in the past, and so to give him Best Picture and not Best Picture sounds like something that they would do.
Anatomy of a Fall sweep is coming, brother.
Yeah. I lied. He was nominated for Dunkirk for Best Director, but yeah, for like Inception and The Dark Knight that won like all those Oscars and got nominated for 8 Oscars and stuff, he wasn't nominated for. And like that wasn't even nominated for Best Picture. So that is kind of interesting.
I'm gonna be controversial and brave right now. I don't know how y'all feel about Dunkirk. I fucking hated Dunkirk.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I don't love it. I don't love it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had no interest in seeing it.
I watched it. I watched it.
I loved it when I saw it, but I don't know.
I watched it in theaters and I said, "All right."
I watched it with my dad, who was very interested. You know, because all dads love World War II. But
of course, I know, Ben. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. All dads love World War II. But when he started doing the time dilation shit with it, we got out of the movie. My dad was like, "What the fuck?" Like he was like, "What was that?" He, thought we were going for a war epic, and it was just like, no, we're doing this different time dilation stuff, which he's obsessed with.
3 different timelines right now, and they're all going to emerge.
Yeah, I'm going to skip the documentaries because we're not caught up to date like we normally are.
I am.
Normally Tej is our correspondent, but he's
I am not
he's
caught
behind.
up. I am not.
Film editing, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Maybe Anatomy of a Fall here.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. None of those movies like stood out to me for the editing. It's not like watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, where you're like, that. Well, that's winning best editing. Like immediately when you see it.
Yeah,
that's clear. It's like, whatever.
In a movie to make us feel like we were seeing an atomic bomb, and apparently that wasn't good enough to be best editing. All right, well, I guess I don't know shit about editing, so I don't know who would have taken this category.
Well, no, you're thinking of best visual effects, which they weren't. Oppenheimer wasn't nominated for best film editing. Oppenheimer is the favorite right now. Anatomy of a Fall is second on Gold Derby. I'm going to state my claim and say that Anatomy of a Fall is actually going to come away with this one.
Was the editing good in that movie? I don't remember noticing the editing at any point.
I don't the editing at all.
No, the editing of when they cut between the fight between the two the couple and then in the court scene.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing that stands out from that. But I mean, putting together something like Oppenheimer and making it like work the way that it did, I think is like a feat in and of itself. International feature film, IO or EO Capitano, Perfect Days, which apparently people love. A24 film. Society of the Snow, which I found to be incredible. The Teacher's Lounge and The Zone of Interest. This just feels like it's going to go to The Zone of Interest.
Yeah, and I'm going to boo loudly at my television.
I don't even best yeah, it's going off as the heavy favorite. Society of the Snow coming in second.
I haven't seen any of those movies, including Zone of Interest, but I still need to get to it.
You don't need to see it. You don't need to see it.
I gotta see all the Best Picture nods, man.
You've got a week.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you can find it anywhere. I mean, I guess you can maybe rent it somewhere, but like, I don't even know if it's available to rent.
It on Amazon. Like,
you can rent it for like $20, I think.
If you go to your local trash can and just dig your arm in there, way down from the bottom, you'll find the Zone of Interest down there.
Actually, I think I found the Zone of Interest right here.
Noted for the listeners, he showed the Dune 2 popcorn fuckhole again.
Visual medium.
Makeup and hairstyling, Golda. I don't know what that is.
What
Maestro.
Golda?
I don't know, man. We should know this stuff because we're a movie podcast, but I've never heard of this movie. It was a Helen Mirren movie.
Of course it was.
Okay.
Why wouldn't it be?
I think it's on Apple, maybe, but it has like a 5.9 on IMDb and a 48 Metascore. So
the makeup went off. That must have been like an Andrea Riseborough thing where they just like emailed all their friends, like, "Hey,
please
get us in here." Maestro
one noticed, no one asked
Oppenheimer.
questions.
Poor Things, Society of the Snow.
Poor Things.
You think so? Yeah, probably.
Please, please, don't let us get shut out.
Music, original score, American Fiction. John Williams getting nominated for what we determined, I think, was the 57th time for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for just like kind of copy paste his score. I mean, shout out to him. He's like 85 years old, whatever. But
yeah, it was an original score the first time I did it. That counts.
Right. Yeah. Killers of the Flower Moon by the posthumously nominated Robbie Robertson. Oppenheimer by Ludwig
my favorite
Göransson
score of the year. Flower Moon, easily my favorite score of the year.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was the only one that when you said it, I like immediately just heard it, and so like, yeah, that's my winner.
Best score. Yeah.
Oh, I had it for Oppenheimer.
I'm gonna go with Oppenheimer. It's got the lead on Gold Derby, but I personally I love the Killers of the Flower Moon score, especially because the music is literally playing throughout the entire movie. Like there's no quiet moments. And it's really interesting, and that like that guitar riff to like start off the film,
man, it's so good. It's so
unbelievable.
Yeah, Oppenheimer is probably gonna win. Now that I'm thinking about it, but still,
it would be interesting to give it to Robbie Robertson to see. I bet Scorsese would go up there and accept it for him. They've been friends for a long time. Plus, he's was a member. I've said this before, but a member of the band back in the day. So maybe we could see something with that happening, but I don't know. Can you hear the music score from Oppenheimer?
No, I've been trying to summon it in my brain. I actually prefer the What I've Done ending to the movie where they put the Linkin Park song over there. That's my
favorite.
Oh my god. A banger, by the way.
They need to do that for Dune 2, by the way.
That is hell. We cut.
Yeah, it's like you just hear like the doon 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 doon, and then Jessica's talking to what's going on, mother? The holy war has started.
Yeah, if Dune 2 was made in 2007, would be this week.
Directed by Michael Bay.
Music, original song. Give it to I'm Just Kidding, you cowards.
Please, bros.
Hey, if he's gonna perform it, and we all know that he doesn't want to perform it, the least we could do is give it an Oscar. We can do.
I've rarely asked the Academy Awards for anything this earnestly. Please, for the love of God, just give us the I'm Just Kidding Oscar win. Billie Eilish has enough, okay?
She already has one.
She doesn't need this one.
And she just won a Grammy for this song, too.
She's literally like, she's going to EGOT before she's 25.
Yeah, that's great.
It fucking kills me because I'm like, I'm almost 30 years old, and what am I doing? Struggling to pay rent.
She won like 5 Oscars in one, or 5 Grammys in one night, or whatever. She already won an Oscar. Did she win 2 Oscars? I don't remember. But either way,
she's an industry plant.
Let us have this. All right, let us have some light and joy in our lives, and give Ryan Gosling the Oscar for this.
Speaking of way to make up for not trying to award Peaches, Peaches, which was the greatest song in movie history. You can make that right by giving it to Gosling, please.
By the way, speaking of industry plant, Diane Warren has been nominated yet again for The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie?
Yeah.
Oh my
God, it makes me
dude.
Play in traffic.
I've said my Diane Warren take all the time, but oh my God, man, stop nominating her. Like, quit playing in our faces. Like, we see what you're doing. Like, you've done it too long now. We noticed the bit.
She's in every movie.
And she gets nominated for like the most random dumb shit and songs no one's ever heard. It's like, I know none of you watched the Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie, and we're like,
I think it was like fucking Tubi.
This song slaps. Like, this has to get no. Get that out of here, man.
I think it was literally only showing in Roku City.
I thought that what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. the singer that everybody loves, and I keep calling him the boss, but what the fuck is his name?
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking on Bruce Springsteen. I thought Bruce Springsteen was nominated. Turns out it's not, but it was John Baptiste and Dan Wilson for "It Never Went Away" for a movie called American Symphony, which
Sure.
I don't know.
I saw it on the front page of Netflix for like 2 days, and then just never saw it again.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's 2 days more than I've ever seen Nyan on Netflix.
But Wahaha Z for Killers of the Flower Moon, a song for the people, and What Was I Made For? This is going to go to What Was I Made For? I'm just calling it now.
It's such a good song, but
she has enough.
My whole thing, that song was in the movie, but my whole thing has always been have your song be in the movie.
I want the characters in the movie to sing the song. That's a dumb requirement, but I'm making it a rule now. For just this year.
I actually just got a notification from the Academy that the songs now have to be in the movie.
Oh, good. Thank God. Okay. Writing, adapted screenplay, American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I kind of could see this going to. I mean, if this goes to Oppenheimer, the night's over. But
you might as well pack it up at that point.
I could kind of see this going to American Fiction, and in fact, I'm going to stake my claim. American Fiction is going to win for best adapted screenplay.
I would
love
fucking
this pick.
love that. I would love that.
Oh, in fact, I wish I was original on that. Gold Derby has it going off as the heavy favorite.
Yes, let's do it for Cord Jefferson. That's awesome.
Oppenheimer is coming in actually kind of a close second, but I think it's going to go to American Fiction. I don't know if y'all have any prediction on that.
I'd love to see it go to American Fiction. I don't have a real prediction because I don't pay attention to how these things work. But
yeah, I would like to see it go to American Fiction just because I would like American Fiction to win something. So
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Writing, original screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, Past Lives. I want it so badly to go to Past Lives. It's going to go to Anatomy of a Fall.
I forgot that May
the fact that like original screenplay is the only thing that May December got nominated for, I think is really interesting.
Crazy.
Well, Tej hated that movie, so he doesn't agree.
And I forgot that movie existed. Until you just said it, I had got that movie from my memory, or I put it in the same box that I put The Creator, which also got an Oscar nomination, by the way.
That's so crazy. The Creator is so good.
But Joe Milton's become a Twitter fave now. Is that his name? That's not
Charles
his name.
Milton.
It's a quarterback. Charles Milton.
They love Charles Milton. Joe Milton is a Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah, Joe Milton's trying to go to the NFL after like 7 years in college. But Charles Milton's become a Twitter fave, so good for him. He won.
Speaking of, go ahead, Derek.
I was gonna say, I think every time I hear Charles Milton now, I just think of A.D. Bryan at the Independent Spirit Awards saying, "Charles Milton, I want to have sex with you, you stupid bitch."
Yeah. He also called Celine, or not Celine song.
Natalie Portman.
He called her like she's like,
she's like,
I want to have sex with you, you slut.
No, she's like, "Hey Natalie, you stupid bitch." No, it was from Past Lives. Greta Lee.
Greta Lee, yeah.
He's like, you are stupid and a slut.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's true.
Incredible work from Eddie Bryant. But so yeah, that'll probably go to Anatomy of a Fall. In fact, I'll probably just claim that as well too. Visual effects, The Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, hell yeah, brother, and Napoleon. This has never been something. It's going to go to Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes, turn that shit up.
I still haven't seen it, but it's for sure going to win.
There you go.
That's real cinema, Dex. That's real goddamn cinema.
Let's see.
It's
going off as a.
The last line of that movie I want tattooed on my body somewhere.
What was it?
Has your war finally ended?
Nice. That movie is incredible, and the team that we said it before, but the team that did it reacting to getting nominated for an Oscar is the most wholesome thing that you'll ever see in your entire life. Also, they made that movie for like no money too. Godzilla -1 is going off as the heavy favorite on Gold Derby for best visual effects, by the way.
Yeah.
And sound, I don't know if we care, but sound is the creator, maestro, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, longest title in movie history. Oppenheimer, Zone of Interest. If this, maestro could win here, but if this doesn't go to Oppenheimer, I don't
wouldn't
know.
mind Maestro winning, but I think Oppenheimer is going to win this for what they did with that bleacher noise and put it in the trailer. But that's one of the coolest things I've ever
good. Seen. One of the most affecting things that I've seen in a movie theater in a long time.
You watched it in Dolby, right?
I did.
Yeah, that had
God, it was so good.
Oppenheimer's going off as the favorite on Gold Derby. The Zone of Interest coming in second on Gold Derby on that for best sound.
That sound is actually really good. That's the only thing about the lead that justifies
I've heard
it
the sound
being
is like really effective.
It's gruesome. It is fucking gruesome.
I don't have any. Yeah, no thanks. You saw all the live action short films, didn't you, Dex? You watched all of them?
I did. I went to like a thing at the art museum, but they showed them all.
Oh, that's cool.
Tough hang. Nope. Tough hang. Awful, dude. Holy shit. I can tell you the order they showed them in because like it was just
you said not a good day at the museum.
Just so it starts with The After, which is this Netflix short film about like this guy is like he's like on a business call or whatever. He's like walking his daughter to a recital or something. He says, I'm gonna go to my daughter's recital instead of like taking this important business meeting or whatever. And then out of nowhere, his daughter and his wife get stabbed and like thrown off a bridge in front of him as part of like a mass stabbing.
What?
Yeah.
A mass stabbing.
A mass stabbing. This takes place in England, so they don't have guns.
Oh,
so,
of course.
Stabbing.
And then how about me?
And then he's an Uber driver. After that, he's just like sitting in the Uber, like listening to other people have random ass conversations. And at the end of the movie, there's like this chick who looks like she could be like an older version of his daughter or whatever. And she like hugs him. And he just like collapses to the ground crying. And then it's over. That's it. Like that's the end of the short. I was like, what the fuck was that? And then Red, White, and Blue, which has Brittany Snow in it, gut punch in the middle of that short. I don't know if y'all plan on watching it. It's like
I gotta tell you, I don't even know where to find them except for the Netflix ones, the Henry Sugar and all the Roald Dahl ones.
So Red, White, and Blue, Brittany Snow is like the struggling waitress who like can't pay her bills or whatever. She has 2 kids, single mom, and like she's looking at a pregnancy test like at the beginning of the short. And there's like this older lady in the diner that she works at who's like, how much money do you need? Blah, blah, blah. And like gives her money for the abortion. She drives from Arkansas to Illinois because that's the only place she can get an abortion with her daughter. She like her daughter is like a part of this road trip or whatever. They get up there. She doesn't have an appointment. And they're like, we can't help you, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll just take down your name. Give me your name and your date of birth. And she gives the date of birth. And the year is 2013. And so you're like, oh, shit. And they like do a flashback. And like the daughter was abused by some man, I assume Brittany Snow's ex or whatever. Yeah, like the kid needs to get an abortion, and that's the end of the short.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh.
Yeah, tough hang. This is what I mean when I say tough hang. All that to say, Night of Fortune, that's like the least depressing one, and probably the one that I would give the Oscar. It's really fucking good. It's Danish. It's also about death, but it's like funny still. I recommend checking it out. I don't know where you can watch it. I don't know if it's on YouTube or something. I think it is on YouTube actually.
Oh,
I looked it up the other day. Yeah, I'll send y'all the link. Okay. But Night of Fortune is good, worth watching. Henry Sugar, if you like Wes Anderson, it's very Wes Anderson.
Say no more.
Yeah. And then what's the other one? Invincible. Oh yeah, that one's also sad. It's about like this kid who's in like a youth camp or something. Youth like Canadian juvie, I guess. I don't know. And then he ends up killing himself at the end.
Jesus Christ!
The power of cinema.
I didn't mean to do like the dismissive hand wave because it is like based on a true story. It's based on a true story. It really happened.
Oh my god!
It's like
the kid just fucking gives the prison a new chandelier or whatever. Anyways, whatever. Like,
holy shit!
Yo,
That was the fourth one we watched. So we were just like, dude, everything is sad. Like, what the
Yuck.
And then Wes Anderson being Wes Anderson. It's like, yeah.
Little delightful Benedict Cumberbatch performance in a Wes Anderson movie. But yeah, Night of Fortune deserves the win to me.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, best production design. Barbie, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, I would give it to Barbie, and I think that it'll probably end up going to Barbie. But the production design for Poor Things is also incredible. And Barbie's going off as the favorite. Poor Things coming in second for that. So
the production design on Barbie is so cool because it's like it looks super low budget, and that's like part of the joke, and it just works really well.
Yeah,
you know.
Anything to say on production design, fellas?
No, I think that's
I just love the minutia of it.
Yeah. Okay, so best picture. Has anything ever been more locked in, or do we get like a Moonlight You Won scenario here?
I think it's Oppenheimer.
Run away with it.
Say that again, Siege.
I think it's Oppenheimer. If Past Lives
sure
somehow ran away with it, that would be fucking phenomenal. But no, I think it's Oppenheimer.
I would stand up and cheer. I have not seen Past Lives. I would stand up and cheer.
Past Lives is incredible, and I actually would not be mad if it took away Best Picture. People like would be irate online because that's just how we are. But like, I love that.
Twitter would be a toxic wasteland.
They would only be that mad because they'd never seen the movie. Because the movie it's phenomenal. A lot more people saw Oppenheimer than it would be the fucking end of the Oscars Twitter as we know it.
If Oppenheimer didn't win, we'd get all the DEI people to like just come out and be like, white men in America can't do anything anymore. They don't respect our achievements. You have to be an Asian woman. We have
to be twice as good for half the work.
There is
when will white men be recognized?
Right. Yeah.
They start doing the Barbie monologue, but it's literally impossible to be a white man.
Guys, it's the hardest job on the planet. I don't know if you've tried.
I don't know if you've tried being a conventionally attractive white man. It's hard out here, y'all. It's really hard.
Really tough. But there is a scenario where Past Lives wins Best Original Screenplay and then wins the Oscar. Like, I think there's look, what do you call it? Coda won with like 2 other wins. Not too long ago.
As good as Past Lives. So that was, I agree with
there was nothing.
But also Power of the Dog is not nearly as good as Oppenheimer. So.
Okay. You know what? Fair.
Touche. Holy shit, I forgot about Power of the Dog. I forgot that movie existed.
Yeah, it stinks. It's like not good.
It stinks.
That thing is already in the Criterion collection, and I'm just like, who is buying the Criterion of Power of the Dog?
Yeah, that's fucking weird, y'all.
Do you have the Criterion of Power of the Dog?
Do I look like I have the fucking Criterion of Power of the Dog?
I mean, look, maybe. You have the Dune 2 popcorn bucket. I don't know what you do with your money.
Yeah. Well, you think I'm over here watching homoerotic Benedict Cumberbatch look at some methed out twink in the middle of a prairie?
I can't believe that we deserve to give it awards. That's so fucking stupid.
Jane Campion was like dissing Serena Williams.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Way too much dip on her chip, bro.
What a weird phase we allowed to happen right there.
That was a weird year for movies.
Power of the Dog, wasn't it nominated for 10 Oscars and didn't win a thing?
No, it won something.
It did win 1 Oscar. Hold on. What did it win? And now we're just talking about former Oscar winners here on this podcast that's nearing 2 hours.
Power of the Dog, keep it that way. Don't go watch
it was Best Director. That's what it won.
She did win. Yeah, that's when she got up. Yeah, that's when she got up and was talking crazy.
No, that was another award show.
That was a different award show when she did Serena Williams, but
yeah, it was like the Emmys.
She did talk crazy.
Not the Emmys. The I think it was like SAG or something.
Celine Song was literally never. This is crazy that we've gone this far.
You know who would diss Serena Williams though? Paul Muad'Dib.
Oh my god!
Full circle.
Yeah. So
yeah, she won Best Director.
Yeah, that's crazy. So right now, Oppenheimer is going off as like the heaviest of heavy favorites, 6-1 odds to win. It was like the top choice for everybody on Gold Derby. Right now, the Holdovers ends at second. The Holdovers.
What?
Wow.
Why?
I find that fascinating because I don't think besides. Well, I mean, the Holdovers is going to win Best Supporting Actress, but I don't like. I don't know.
It's going to win. That's all it's going to win.
Yeah, if it somehow comes away that Cillian doesn't win and Giamatti comes away with a win, and they have two actor wins,
it could.
Maybe, but I don't see. I don't foresee that happening.
A Holdovers wave would get me to stop watching the Oscars. I'm not gonna lie to you. A big Holdovers wave of sweeping the award show. I'm out, man.
So if
what happened to the game I loved?
If the Holdovers wins 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, you are done. That's it for you.
I'm out, man. I'm good. I'll take it on the chin when you give me a Green Book Best Picture winner. I'll take it on the chin when you give me a Brendan Fraser Best Actor winner. But I'm not doing this holdover shit with y'all, man. I'm not.
Damn.
We really have to pivot this podcast away from everything that we talk about all year.
That's when you just make the hard pivot into sports podcast. You've got to at that point.
Yeah,
we're ready.
We're a Golden Globes podcast after that.
I like the Holdovers, but I'm going to have that mostly with next year. I like the Holdovers. I like the Randolph. That anything Oscar related was going to happen with this film. I just didn't. I liked it, but I did not feel like anything Oscar worthy was happening on that set that I watched. But I do like movies, so I don't want people to think that I don't like it. But to have that second odds in Best Picture to me of this year is insane because this is a pretty stacked class in my opinion.
This is a stacked year.
I could next year when we don't have anything besides Dune and what do you call it?
Furiosa.
The Furiosa, right? I could see it's it's the
don't forget. We have Wolverine coming and we have picture nomination.
Oh yeah,
Start it up right now. Start it right now.
We'll start. You want to start that campaign? We'll start it right here organically.
Actually,
so.
let's
do it.
Yeah. Let's get this going.
Derek doesn't seem on board.
Oh no! I'm fully on board. I think. Listen, Hugh Jackman, Best Supporting.
But yeah, I feel like we've come to a different state of the world, and something else has happened that's just cannot be fixed anymore. Something is truly broken. If we just give the saddest Christmas movie of all time the Best Picture, we just can't. We can't be that lost as a people. We can't go.
Sorry, the saddest Christmas movie? Are you forgetting about the Christmas shoes?
But we can't go from the unbridled joy of Everything Everywhere All at Once to actually, what if Christmas was bad for everyone? I can't have that.
What if Christmas was the worst?
Hey, do you want to watch really sad white boarding school students and a man with a lazy eye find out about love?
I don't know.
They cannot have it.
Yeah, and
find out about love and that they cannot have it.
And the fact that Paul Giamatti's a smelly bitch through the whole movie.
He smells like fish. He's an alcoholic. An alcoholic sad boy tells you you should do better in your life, and you're
Tumblr would
okay,
eat
thanks.
him up.
Yeah. Although I will say, him calling all of his students troglodytes and stuff in that movie is my favorite part of
the stuff he was
That's
calling
the
his
te- that's
students
the
is
teacher
truly the favorite
movie.
part.
Yeah.
Favorite part of the movie is everything he's calling those kids. He changes up the vernacular, but it's always amazing.
So that is the Oscars predictions. We think that Oppenheimer is probably going to, like, it may have like some other things may win here or there, but it may have like a Return of the King sort of night.
What are the odds for the movies 3 through 5? I know that you said The Holdovers is second. What's 3 through 5 in terms of the favorites for Best Picture?
Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, which kind of feels accurate. Then it's Barbie, American Fiction, Zone of Interest, Maestro, and I said Past Lives could win, but it's not. It's in 10th right now on Gold Derby.
It'd be so funny though. Do it for the content.
Do it for the vine.
Turn it up.
So yeah, Oppenheimer, clean sweep. That'd be interesting. It wasn't it nominated for like 11 Oscars or something like that. It has a chance to.
We just went through it, so
yeah, we should. But we should know. But yeah, we end every podcast we're going long. But with what we're watching, Derek, what have you been watching recently besides just Dune on repeat?
Yeah, I've been watching The Traitors on Peacock, which is a fantastic reality.
I keep hearing about this.
Yeah,
fantastic.
One of my coworkers is trying to get me into it, and I haven't started it yet.
It's very, 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 very good. And then in terms of like actual scripted content, I've been watching. I've been trying to go through and watch the Avatar: The Last Airbender series.
Not going well.
Well, you know. It's there. It's there, and it's going to be there forever, like Naiad. Where I'll be like, oh, there he is. There's Ong.
Ong, is that what they call him in the show?
No, they call him Aang. They do a pretty good. They do a very good job of like translating everything well, but like or translating everything over. I guess I should say this show was originally in English, but. It's I don't know if this show was made for live action. I think it should have stayed a cartoon.
They're very mixed reviews on people being like, well, it wasn't made for critics. It was made for fans. And it's like, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good show.
I love that show. It's one of like my childhood staples. Mm-hmm. And as a fan, it's a rough watch.
Yeah,
Dex, you're a big fan. You haven't even turned it on, right?
One of my favorite shows of all time. I've seen it all the way through like 8 separate times. I loved it. I just can't bring myself to care about the live action like I thought I was going to. Like I don't want to do it, man. My dad's been watching it and he's been saying it's pretty good. He also loved the cartoon for what it's worth, but
by the way, you don't have to.
Yeah,
Netflix isn't making you.
Yeah, no, Mr. Netflix does have a gun to my head right now.
Jim Netflix is making you watch.
Alan S. Netflix. I hate to be that guy. I do have to jump off.
All right. Well, Derek, thank you so much. You can find him at Derek Fultz. We really appreciate it. Where are you doing? Are you still doing sketch comedy?
Yeah, I'm doing
improv.
I'm doing improv. Yeah, I'm doing improv at Comedy Sports Houston. Come watch me. I'm doing it a lot less now, just because I'm tired and busy and depressed. But no, I'm just tired. But once the summer ramps up, I'll start doing it more. But yeah, I don't really get on Twitter anymore. In fact, I'm probably close to deactivating my account again.
Good. We all should, honestly.
Yeah, it's rough out there. Find me on Instagram at Derek Fultz. And then so that's what I got.
Derek, it's always awesome when you come on.
It's so much fun. Y'all are so much fun. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you later, buddy. Tej, what are you watching since we have a connection?
I'm watching Shogun. Shogun is real cinema.
Yeah, same.
I love it. I'm watching Shogun. I'm watching Curb the last season. Let me just give props. I love Curb. This season has been so good so far. I'm watching Abbott Elementary, and I think that's about it. I'm catching up on movies. I'm about to catch All of Us Strangers here soon, which is on Hulu now. So I want to catch that as well. And I'm going back to the best cookies, and I watched Dune, and that's pretty much about it. I still, it's like Dex won't watch The Last Airbender. I still haven't seen the Mean Girls remake. I just can't bring myself to press for.
Is it out?
I think it's on.
No, but I have a bootleg of it if it's not out. But I realized I had it, and then I was like, I don't know. I just can't press play yet. I just can't do it yet.
You'll be fine. I promise. Like,
Yeah,
you're not missing like a cultural touchstone or anything.
I enjoyed it, but it's like whatever, man. Like,
Last movie that I saw in theaters, before I saw Dune. It has been fucking the doldrums out here. By the way,
I'm glad you didn't go see Madam Web. You did your service. You didn't go see Madam Web.
Yeah, you didn't go see Argyle like your boy.
I wanted to kind of go see Argyle. Then the reviews came out, and I was like, "Why am I wasting my? I could be doing other things or actually watching stuff that I actually like." Same with Madam Web, where I was like, "Yes, there's like a car crash factor to watching Madam Web that I would love to participate in, but I just couldn't. I'm good.
I couldn't bring myself to do it either. It's like I don't want to get up and go somewhere to watch that train wreck. I'm fine."
And it's like, is it so bad that it's good sort of thing? It's like, I almost don't care because it's dealing with a subject matter that I also don't care about. It's not like it was like an indie film where it's like, you got to watch this because it's not like The Room or something like that, where you're like, where it's like, you have to watch this because it's astounding that they made this. It's like they tried to make a superhero movie and it was bad. So,
and it's not even like Venom bad where people were like, this movie stinks, but also like kind of hell
funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Like they don't even have that. It just sounds bad. I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm out. Dex, what have you been watching? Vanderpump?
Yep, still on Vanderpump as always. I will get the Shogun. I will do it. I will join everyone. Everyone says this show is real cinema. Everyone says this is restoring the feeling of GOT. I'm gonna try and do it. I'm going to try. Make the effort.
I thought, and it may be leading to this more, I thought it was going to be like more samurai fighting sort of thing, but it really is just like political intrigue and backstabbing and stuff in feudal Japan, and it fucking rips. It's the first 2 episodes are incredible. But yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Also, I hate that Hulu has commercials. I need to upgrade that, but I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, I'm on the Hulu no commercials, and this is the way. This is the way.
Living like a poor boy.
F1 is back, which is great, but Max Verstappen is going to win every race by 2 minutes. So, it's not as great as it could be.
I said on Twitter, I've tried to get into that sport so many times, but
I haven't tried at all.
It's like watching the 1930s Yankees, where it's just like, oh, they have all the best players.
You literally, the first lap of Max led every lap of the race. Like he started on pole, never trailed, never came close to trailing. No one was ever in position to even try to overtake him at any point. Insane. Like literally the race started. He made it through the first corner. It's over. Like there was just like some other people like hit each other in the first corner. He avoided all that. Just drove straight through the rest of the race. No competition whatsoever. So every time people are like, you gotta watch F1, man. It's so good. I'm like, I can't tell anybody that right now. Like every race, you know exactly who's going to win. If Max doesn't win, something catastrophic has happened. Like, and it doesn't matter because he's going to win the next race anyway. Like,
yeah, watching races to be like, ooh, I can't wait to see who comes in 2nd through 12th is like, weird. You know what I mean? So I probably won't be watching a lot of F1 this year.
But you can follow Apollo F1 Racing on Instagram, and we will be making memes. So it'll still be funny, even if Max wins all the time. You have to sit there and watch the actual race.
Wasn't Max Verstappen so bored of winning F1 that he's like, I want to go try like NASCAR or something like that?
That wouldn't surprise me. I don't remember hearing that, but
yeah, I thought I had seen that on Twitter or something, that he was so bored with winning. He was just like, ugh, like whatever.
I appreciate him though, because he always tries to like downplay it. Like, oh, like it's gonna be a tough one today. Like, Mercedes, they got a great car. Like, I don't know. Like we might struggle a little bit. It's not that easy, guys. Like, and then yeah, it's pretty fucking easy, dude.
Is Lewis Hamilton? I know this isn't the podcast, but is Lewis Hamilton going to Red Bull?
Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari.
Okay, that's what it was.
Ferrari is like the second place team right now. At least they were in the first race. So Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he like they have a better car than the car Lewis has right now, but we'll see if that matters.
Is that next season or was it going to happen this
next
season?
season?
Okay. Anyway,
I left off. I've been watching wrestling as well. I am fully locked into wrestling.
Wrestling
is back.
Teach, baby.
I've been watching the fuck out of wrestling, so I'm watching that. That's it.
Are they ever? Is The Rock ever gonna like actually fight, or is he just gonna go out there and stand in the middle of the ring?
No, he's gonna fight at WrestleMania, and now they're setting up a tag team match between Roman and The Rock versus Seth and Cody. So that's gonna be on night 1 of Mania, and then night 2 will be Roman and Cody. It looks like so both and Roman are going to be doing and Cody are going to be doing double duty at WrestleMania, and that's a smart business decision. But The Rock being a heel now is just the coolest thing in the world. He's cutting promos.
I will be locked in for WrestleMania.
It's crazy to me that like no matter what wrestler, like he's the biggest movie star or was the biggest movie star in the world, but no matter what wrestlers do, they can never escape going back to the ring. Like John Cena doesn't have to go back. Fuck if he's going to go back and actually like do flips and shit and hurt, like potentially hurt himself.
I do respect John Cena though.
Yeah.
I respect John Cena because like he was in the WWE like during the strike or whatever. And then they struck a deal and they asked him, like, so you're going to keep wrestling after the strike ends? He was like, no, absolutely not.
Why would I do that?
You know why I am?
I'm a superhero. What are you talking about?
I'm literally the Peacemaker. No. What are you talking about?
Literally the Magic Johnson. I'm not going to be there.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I love the fact that The Rock feels like his popularity is waning. So he has to go back to like where he is loved the most out of any person ever. Where he's
That's how Black Adam was. Black Adam lead to wrestling being fun again and me being tuned in again. All because I had to sit through Black Adam. So now it was worth it because that movie fucking stinks.
It did. It was not good. I actually took the time during Dumpuary to watch a lot of movies that I hadn't seen. Watched The Sting from 1973, Blood Simple, the Coen brothers' first film.
Oh, I like Blood Simple.
Yeah, it's really interesting to go back and look at like the seeds that they lay in that movie. It's actually kind of like a thriller horror movie. It's really interesting. Aaron Brockovich, which I had never seen, which is incredible. Eastern Promises, also incredible. Suncoast, which was a Sundance film, I believe, that just got released on Hulu this year. Not bad. Woody Harrelson and Nico Parker are in it. And so, yeah.
I have seen that on Hulu. I haven't watched the movie, but I've seen like that it exists.
It's not a bad film. It doesn't really like say anything other than, oh man, this story is sad and what an interesting, like, it's sort of based in reality from the writer director who does a really good job in her first film. But yeah, Nico Parker. Huh?
So it's Iron Claw?
Well, no, it's not as devastating as Iron Claw, but it is interesting, like family drama, but or family dark comedy. And then Coherence, which I think I maybe told y'all about in the group message. It's on Amazon. One of the most interesting sci-fi films that I think I've seen. They made it for like $1,000 on like a handheld camera, and it's incredible. And I thought it was really, really interesting.
I might check that out. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just if you don't know what it is or haven't seen it, it's free on Amazon. Really recommend checking it out. And it's basically this meteor is passing overhead of California over this neighborhood, and so time starts to get dilated, and it really like opens up wormholes into different dimensions of this
sounds fire.
Yeah, of this same party that's going on. So people start to like disappear and come back, and like they don't know who is who. It's a really interesting mystery sci-fi movie, and like about the nature of like what is your reality versus what is a branching reality. It's really, really interesting.
What is that called?
It's called Coherence. It's on Amazon. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the poster. But so yeah, I did that, and then Caitlin watched like all of Love Is Blind in one sitting, so I got pieces of that.
I'm also watching that as well. Caitlin has good taste. This season's been a complete. I know she's
oh my god, it's a fucking train wreck. It's like I can't stop watching it. I'm like, oh my god, did they really say that to each other? And it's just like, yeah, that's the whole concept of the show. But anyway, it's crazy to watch in real time. But they're also all the time, like they're on like season 7 of that show all of a sudden.
Yep.
Like they pump out 2 seasons a year.
They're cranking them out.
I just can't get over the fact that it's every day. Like,
yeah,
you got to be locked in, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, that has been what I'm watching. I mean, there's some other shows that I think I've been checking out, but Welcome to Wrexham I was trying to finish, and Shogun, which I watched. I haven't finished True Detective yet.
I have one episode left, but when I saw mixed reviews, nothing made me want to go watch the finale, but I'm going to watch the finale.
Me either.
I've haven't loved it, but I'm like,
yeah, me either. I'm just kind of been like, I'll finish that when I finish it. But other than that,
yeah, same.
That has been a One Take Podcast. You can find us at One Take Podcast on literally everything. The number One Take Pod on literally everything. Go find Teej's bad Dune takes, or go roast him for his Dune takes. Les_humble Teej, at Lord Dex Hinton, and at Royden Ogletree. Thank you so much for following us, liking us. I'm sorry. I just want to apologize between like the length between episodes. We used to do this like once a week, but it was literally the doldrums and hell at the movie theaters until Dune came out. So hopefully we'll have more episodes more frequently, but we gave you a 2-hour and 20-minute episode here. So listen to this in the meantime.
Hey, y'all know we go crazy at the Oscars. We just talked about like all these locks and things like that. Even if they are like, even if everything is chalk, we're gonna get on here. We're gonna talk our shit. So
yeah, next week is it next week? Next week's the Oscars.
It's the 10th.
Yeah.
Yes,
next Sunday. Next Sunday is the Oscars, so we will bring you all of that live or that coverage. We do a live reaction right after it happens. We've done it for 3 years now. All of us will probably have had some drinks. It's a really fun time. If you want a taste of what that is, go back to the one where Chris Rock got slapped. That's
my god, what an episode!
I think we were all drunk, or at least I know I was, but I was just like, what the fuck happened? It's an incredible experience. It's my funnest. I think it's our funnest pod of the year that we do every single year. But yeah, go find us at One Take Pod. Dex, what are we doing? We did it at the box office. They fudged the numbers and said that Florence Pugh has had the 2 biggest box office openings, like both $80 million. But yeah, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. We're going to get her something to do in these Oscar winners. We're going to do it.
We will be there. All right.